After more than 30 years of Islamist rule, Sudan has outlined wide-reaching reforms including allowing non-Muslims to drink alcohol, and scrapping the apostasy law and public flogging. We will drop all the laws violating the human rights in Sudan, Justice Minister Nasredeen Abdulbari said. The current government is an uneasy mixture of those groups which ousted Mr. Bashir and his former allies in the military, who ultimately staged a coup against him. It's too early to tell whether this will last or ultimately result in an Egypt-like resurgence of the regime. Same for Ethiopia. Even in Tunisia it's not entirely clear if democracy will prevail. In contrast to Eastern Europe in the 1990s, there isn't a bloc of established democracies nearby that are willing to help them transition and support them financially and economically, so the revolution becomes a success story. Some good news at last. What is this? Strange. Good news. Rationale news. Surely there must be a mistake. It seems all I see are governments regressing, and here we have the government of Sudan progressing. There may be hope for the world. Good for them. As modest as the gains seem to those in already secular countries, this is an important step for them, and I applaud it. Removed. That's enormously good news. One day I truly hope there will be worldwide freedom from tyranny. Good for everybody in the country. No clue WTF prompted this, but thumbs up. Sudan has also banned female genital mutilation, FGM. Ah yes. Deleted. As a Muslim, I think those kind of laws are utterly bullshit. If someone is not a Muslim, they have all the rights to do whatever they want, as long as it doesn't interfere with disrespecting others' right. Just because I'm not allowed to drink, it doesn't mean my Christian friend or Jewish or whatever religion they believe in shouldn't be drinking as well. He is a man of logic and reason and should not be taken seriously. I thought South Sudan seceded from Sudan because of Sudan's unwillingness to make these kinds of changes in the first place. LGBT rights too? And the right of Muslim women to marry whatever male they want? I believe currently only Tunisia and Turkey allow the same marriage rights to women as the men have, among the majority Muslim countries. And blasphemy laws? Anyway, it's a step in the right direction. I really hope this is something that will last. Animosity towards Muslims is something fueled by the theocratic and sometimes brutal regimes of Muslim countries, whether that's public canings, death penalty type stuff, etc. So creating a system where religious tolerance is more accepted and widely practiced within institutions and the populace is a really great step forward. Everyone is entitled to their personal beliefs, and it's always good when we can come to respect that in one another. Turns out if you stop bombing their children and assassinating their leaders, societies generally move forward. That's really impressive. Hardcore Muslims will certainly react to this. Innovation, bid'ah, is forbidden in Islam. Changing laws from the traditions of Muhammad is usually met with death by the fundamentalists. Finally, fight for women's rights in the Sudan. Drinking alcohol is a human right. Religion should never control the laws of a nation. Too much of an agenda. Meanwhile, Turkey is taking the opposite approach. Holy shit, this is amazing. This is a really important movement in Africa. Authoritarianism doesn't have a strong history there comparatively, but Islam in government specifically has put out a strong framework and a genuine populist momentum behind some authoritarian regimes across the continent. It's about ducking time. I hope for more stability here in Africa. Hearing that ISIS is starting to get more active in Mozambique, we definitely need more secular governments to limit the spread of these ideologies. Ironically, didn't South Sudan break off because of Islamic rule? Private flogging time. Iranians, awkward silence. Can Muslims renounce Islam for a few hours and then drink legally? The cynic in me says that this could just be for show, that people's mentalities and prejudices don't change just because Allah says they should. But the optimist in me says this is a good step forward for a secular world. Congrats. Welcome to the 17th century Sudan. Is this to distract from their rampant economic corruption? Damn, this is great news. Welcome to 1970, Sudan. As a Sudanese ex-Muslim, this is a good step to the bright future. Good. Hope Erdogan sees this. Some good news in 2020. Now that's a surprise. Now this is the first good thing happening this year. Cheers for progress. Yai behind, but hey, it's progress. Now to rid the rest of the abominable religious-based laws that inherently interfere with human rights, and we're on our way. Yes. Love to see my country becoming better. These new laws represent what the people wanted for years. Any other Sudanese Fardash present? Still probably not ready for the gaze though, frowning face. Removed. Shout out Sudan. Good for you, smiley. Sudan is the new world leader. Here's hoping they're actually serious about this. Lord knows Sudan could use a break finally. Woo. Great step in the right direction. Everyone should watch this very informative history of South Sudan. https://youtube.b/pkmm1n0 Mach 4. Great, now maybe they can work on teaching birth control and not having 6 children per household. Now if they can do something about child soldiers, good. The pessimist in me believes that Sudan did this because they want a good trading partner with the East African Federation, but any progress is good progress. They need to show action and stop talking about it. This is fantastic. Hope other countries follow suit. Finally, some of the few good news nowadays. The human rights situation in Sudan is still unbearable, of course, and the enforcement will be difficult, but at least there's a will to change the situation, which gives me hope. I mean, to the credit of the Sudani, non-Muslims can be real belligerent drunks. I would know, I'm a non-Muslim drunk and can get pretty handsy. This is incredible. Assassination in 3-2-1. Wonder how long it takes to see the headline that he got assassinated. Damn, I have absolutely no ties to Sudan whatsoever, and I'm out here tearing up over this. Man, 2020 is such a shit year, that when I hear something this good on such a large scale, it just gives me a teensy little bit of hope. Now if we can get the Middle East and parts of Asia squared away. Great for the people of Sudan. Finally they began camping up to date. Progress. Finally, some good fucking news. 2020 is full of surprises. Finally a good one. Peace in Africa. A first step in battling tribalism. I hope there are many more. I wonder if I'll ever live in an atheistic world. Opinion polling has shown that the Muslim world is getting sick of Islamism. Sudan has entered the medieval era. I've got some news. A lot of devout Muslims still drink. Fuck yeah. TBH, as an atheist I am not fond of religion, and Islam actually scares me. This is a big change for people in Sudan. What kind of backwards fucking country is Sudan that this is what's making news in 2020? Sure. Let's see how this works out. The bet I'm placing is, Sudan's government overthrown in 6 months. Well, that brightened my day. Great news truly. These laws do not advocate social cohesion and cooperation. They promote persecution and supremacy. We can all learn from Sudan, and say no to such things. Welcome to the 20th century. I will believe it when I see it. Too many times states make these claims and it's purely a facade to placate the international community. Meanwhile the practice continues unabated domestically. My feed is normally loaded with doom and gloom about religiosity taking advantage of our more basic inclinations. This is an unusually happy observation and development. Good job Sudan. Crazy how people don't know what's going on in these countries with religious extremism until they stop doing it and the developed world says you were doing what? It's a great start in a system that has a long way to go. Even though this is great move in the right direction, the public ridicule could exist for years to come. Finally moving into the 17th century, well done. Welcome to the 19th century Sudan. How nice of them, waving hand light skin tone.